Okay, guys, welcome back to DragonWorks. Little follow-up here. This 2009 Polaris Sportsman 800. You might have saw the other videos where I was trying to get the thing running. Just replaced the fuel pump because it wasn't running when it came in. I took the fuel pump apart. I tried to get the pump to run, applying power directly to it, and wasn't happening. So anyway, replaced all that, and I did get it started, but it's kind of sputtering and carrying on, just like it's running on one cylinder. But the plugs were just terrible. So I ended up grabbing a set of them this morning, thinking maybe one is just not quite firing right. Put new plugs in it, still the same problem. So the only reason why I didn't do a compression test to begin with is they told me it was running great. And then it sat for a few months. And then all of a sudden it wouldn't start. So, usually think that everything's going to be good. But as I've been diagnosing this thing, I said, let's just cut to the chase. So let me show you what I found here on this one cylinder. You ready? Here, you guys watch the gauge for me. Tell me what it does. Hang on, I'm trying to hold the throttle open and turn the key with the same arm. Yeah, and you can hear it. You can hear it coming through the intake, so that's normally a stuck valve. So the other cylinder, I won't show you that right now, you can trust me. It has 155 PSI on it. So, yeah, I think we got a little issue. But anyway, I can pop this cover off here relatively easy without removing a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to pop that off there and see what we got. It'll tell me a lot because I'll be able to see the top and I'll know what's going on. Hopefully, I think we got a valve stuck or something. That's what it's acting like. So let's see if we can help them out here. All right, guys, stay tuned. Okay, guys, I had to pause just for a second and remove this cover like I was telling you. Here's our rocker arms. As soon as I removed the cover, I saw the problem. I'll get some light here in a second, but this push rod right here fell out of the cup on the rocker arm, and it's stuck down here holding this rocker arm up, which is in return holding this intake valve open slightly. So they must have been out of adjustment. I'm not really sure. This thing's been a little bit of a mystery already. But you can see where I'm talking about. I got some light on it. Let me see. I need 3 hands and I only got 2. But this is the push rod that I'm talking about. You can see the ball, the ball tip exposed. Hang on. There you go. But see how you don't see it on these or those over there? Because there's a little cup area up in there that it's supposed to be in. So somehow that things came out of there, so it might have been out of adjustment. I don't know if they've ever been adjusted before. So anyway, stand by. I'm going to see what I can do to fix it, and I'll be right back with you. Got to pause again. Okay, guys, I had to pause it again. You can see I was able to get the push rod back in. But you see how I can turn this one with my fingers all the way around. It's perfectly straight. It spins. I don't know if you probably can't really see it spinning too good. I'll spin it slower. But then I come over to this one that I just put back in, and hang on. I'm trying to spin it. It's bent. It won't spin. So that's where we're at right now. I had to pull this rocker arm off. And I'll pull it out. Sometimes I can straighten them, but it's most likely going to need a new push rod. So that's where we're at. That's starting to make sense why this thing, I got it started, but she wouldn't run right. And it wasn't making a whole lot of sense. So that does make a whole lot of sense. All right, guys, stand by. I don't know if I'll stop it here, start another video, or I'll continue it. But anyway, let me see. Let me get that thing out of there and see how bad it is, what's going to happen here. Okay, I'm back here for a second. You can see the bent push rod. They usually just don't bend on their own unless the thing was so loose that it popped out and got jammed in there, and that's what bent it. But what I'm about to do is I'm going to check out what I can to make sure nothing else is wrong here. I'm going to straighten this back up, put it back in, and turn the engine over to see what's going on, because there could be another problem that caused this. But anyway, I'm just going to do that temporarily to turn the motor over, but I'm going to go ahead and replace this anyway, because after I straighten it back, it'll always be weak there. And it's just a hollow tube that oil runs through, so they're not real strong. They're meant to bend, believe it or not, so there's no other damage. But anyway, that's what I found here on this 2009 Polaris Sportsman 800. First wasn't running, then I found out fuel pump was bad, so I replaced that, and then I got it running, but it just seemed like it just wouldn't come around. It was missing. Come to find out, it's only running on one cylinder. And here's the culprit. So yeah, stand by again. I'll be back soon. Okay, I straightened up the push rod, put it back in, put the valve cover gasket back on there, and let's try this compression test again. Should be a little better. Woo! All right, problem is that's way better than the other side now. That's 175 psi. Wow. Yeah, so man. Anyway, got that fixed, but the other side earlier, of course I could try it again. I only came up with about 155, maybe 160 at the most, so that's a lot of difference between the two. So anyway, yeah, the saga continues with this thing. This is going to become the mystery Polaris here, because a lot of things just aren't adding up. So anyway, going to throw the plugs back in it and see what it runs like this time. All right, once again, stay tuned. Okay, going to try to fire it up again. One problem that I did notice is it seemed like, of course, I took the plugs out to do the compression test and turn the motor over so I could get the rocker arm in, and the plugs looked like they were fouling a little bit. So that's really odd. Might be a whole nother problem we got to take care of. But anyway, I'm going to try to crank it. First, I'll try just cranking it regular, because it should start like that. Shouldn't have to give it throttle. I was having to give it throttle before to start it. So let's just see what happens when we crank it. And folks, I really don't know what's going to happen, because this thing is becoming a big mystery. Well, a little bit better, because it wouldn't start before unless I gave it throttle. Can't tell if I hear any ticking or not. Well, that's better. Sorry about my finger. All right, so much better. It likes running on 2 cylinders better than 1. So now I'm going to have to run it a little bit. What do you think, guys? Okay, much better. Jeez. Now, don't ask me, because I do this stuff every day for I don't know how long, and Oh man, I'm just scratching my head here going, I have no idea. So I don't know what happened, if that was happening before and they didn't know it, or if something, maybe from it sitting, the valve was stuck and it allowed slack, and the push rod popped out when they were trying to start it. And then it just so happens it come to me with a broken fuel pump. Now I got a feeling I know why the fuel pump was bad, because, after talking with the customer a little bit more, he thinks that somebody put some bad gas in here. And if you saw that picture of that gas that I dumped out, it was like orange or something, rust color. But what I noticed was when I dumped the gas out of the tank, there were all these water droplets inside the tank. So there was probably a lot of water just sitting inside that fuel pump, and it sat for like 6 months or something, they think, and it just destroyed it. I mean, it didn't do anything. I couldn't get it to do anything at all, hooking it directly up to a car battery even. So it was totally shot. So it's really odd that I had two crazy problems like that, but that's just kind of how this business is. A lot of stuff don't make sense sometimes. So, when people are like, well, how much you think it's going to be? Well, I think it's going to be this much, but when I end up with stuff crazy like this, takes me down some rabbit trail. So anyway, like I said, that was the first time that I've ever been able to start the thing without having to hold the throttle open. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to continue to run it. So I did have a really strong mixture of fuel system cleaner in here, and it wasn't running really good and smoking a lot. So I thought, okay, well, maybe it's too much. So I threw some gas back in on top of it and was thinking that maybe it was running a little better. But when it just wouldn't idle and start right, I knew there was more to it. Anyway, the reason I'm saying that is because I think now I'm going to run some more fuel system cleaner through it, run it for a while. Now that it seems to be back up to health a little bit, maybe take it out, test ride it, just run it some and see if it, comes around a little bit better. But I know that's just a bunch of gibberish probably to you, but let's see what it does here again. Pump's running. Like I say, to me, it's still not 100%, but it also sat for 6 months, and you saw the condition of the plugs and everything else, so it may just need to be ran. It's real responsive now. So it's running as it should. I didn't hear anything fly out of the motor. So yeah, I'm just gonna turn that off so I don't have to shout. So yeah, at this point, I'm just gonna run it some more, run some stuff through it, and let's see what happens. All right, guys. I don't know, either stay tuned or peace out, or I'm not sure. I'm just clipping a bunch of videos together here, taking you along for the ride with this one. I've got so much other stuff to do. I got to get back to it. I thought this was going to be a simple, quick project. I kind of jumped on it early, thinking maybe, I could figure it out quick and get it out, and it's pretty much consumed me at this point. So, got to get it done, move on to the next thing. I got some other stuff for you to see. I just got this puppy here running, and we'll talk about that. I'm going to do a little bit of work to it. This is a Polaris 400 UTV. But anyway, got a lot of stuff in here to talk about, so stay tuned. All right, maybe peace out.